Hi guys, and welcome to official chapter 6 of Stayorgo Poker. This chapter is titled Combating Resistance Styles Part 2. I've received some feedback from Chris and Donald, and I'm going to try and implement that. One of the feedback was that in general the videos are too long, and if we can keep them to 5 minutes, then perhaps people are more likely to complete them, because a lot of the case that people start watching them and don't get all the way through. So I'm trying to condense it as much as I can, speak as quickly as possible, and try and get it all done in 5 minutes. So the important thing is that you've seen all the other videos before this one. The other videos are largely aimed at sort of £10 turbo type tournaments on Sky Poker, where the play on Sky Poker is far too tight, and you can adopt that process pretty well. However, if you start playing higher stakes or other sites, then it might not be easy to implement it. You're not going to be able to find spots all the time where you can get fold 60 to 70% of the time. So you're having to sit back. Hopefully you guys have been implementing this, and on Sky Poker you've been able to find spots where your 3-bets are getting fold 60-70% of the time, and your raises are getting fold 60 to 70% of the time, with the marginal hands. So I did a Combating Resistance Styles Part 1, where I said that if you're not getting that amount of folds, then you need to tighten up a bit. So you need to tighten up your opening range and not necessarily c-bet every board, because the sticky players are going to call you and then try and take it on the turn. So that was the, if you like, the passive way of playing when you are getting a lot of resistance. Now you may find that, certainly I've found when playing on party poker at the higher stake tournaments, that I'm getting a lot of resistance, a lot of calling, a lot of 3-betting, and it's very hard for me to adopt that style. So I have to bring it down to getting about 60% of the folds, which is fine. That's still plus EV in itself. But also I have to adopt a bit of a dual strategy. The passive strategy that I was talking about as well, but then there's also the more aggressive strategy that you can adopt, and that's what I'm talking about in this chapter. So in this situation, I still recommend that you tighten up your opening range in general. If you're getting a lot of resistance, you want to be doing the opposite of what your opponents are. But if you are continually getting 3-bet, then you want to widen your 4-betting range. So you still have to take in everything into consideration: the position, the styles, the stacks, and also and also I don't like calling 3-bets, but if you've got a guy who's continually 3-betting you, and your hand isn't really strong enough to 4-bet with, or you're not comfortable that you're going to get folds that often when you 4-bet, then you can call, particularly in position and particularly with suited cards. Now, my recommendation is that these players that are continually 3-betting you, unless they've been very fortunate, they're doing it with a wider range of hands, so they don't have to have monster hands. So if you call the 3-bets with these suited connectors, suited Broadway cards, and then aggressively play any type of draw that you get, would be, because you've got more fold equity than you would against a tight guy who 3-bets you, because the tight guy who 3-bets you has got aces, kings, queens, etc. all in his range. The loose guy that 3-bets you has got a wide range in, and as such, if you play it aggressively, I would suggest, if you're out of position, that you check raise these flush draws. If you're in position, and I would re-raise the flush draw when they c-bet to you. In general, I still don't like calling 3-bets, but I think against these aggressive players, it is something that you can do. Also, 3-bet them quite a lot and see what their reaction is when they 3-bet. Do they fold 3-bets? Because they may be playing a similar style to yourself. Anyway, that's about it. That's how to combat resistance styles. When you're getting situations where you're getting called a lot, and they're floating c-bets, and I said in the passive way that you can just check the flop and they'd be more wary of that, and then perhaps bet the turn. But also from an aggressive point of view, you know that they might be betting the flop. You might c-bet anyway and they call, and it might take a second stab on the turn. I'm not a great fan of these because they're high variance plays. Certainly at the level that we've been playing at, and that you're playing at on Sky Poker at the £10 turbo level, you won't need to do this. You should be able to combine your existing skills with this strategy to make a profit at that level. When you go up to the next level, you might need to have some sort of double barreling in your range, and also calling 3-bets and aggressively playing the draws when you get a good draw, and also 4-betting a lot wider. So I certainly think, like, if you're in the blinds and you raise on the button, you get 3-bet by the small blind or big blind who's aggressive, you should be 4-betting almost any ace or Broadway cards, king, queen, king, jack, those sort of hands, if it's a player who is often 3-betting you. If it's a tight player, obviously you let it go. So that's just a little bit of advice for overcoming resistant styles in the more aggressive games. Hope this helps, and best of luck with your games. And thanks for the feedback, especially Donald and Chris. Cheers.